All right. Welcome everybody so far. We're just going to get started in a couple of minutes here, just getting everybody settled in. So, if you find the chat box, it's a great spot to just keep an eye out. We have a couple of things coming in the very beginning. So, welcome everybody, and once again, hope everybody's you know, doing okay so far in these very weird times. We're very excited to bring you on here today. So, we'll let you guys pull in a couple of minutes here, and I'll come on back and get us rocking and rolling. I hope some of you are coming back from last week's webinar. If you are, let us know in the chat, as well as maybe where you're from. We have people from all over the world usually coming in across Hi Mama's face, and we love knowing where you guys are coming from today. So just a couple more minutes, we'll settle in here shortly. Any questions as well as things pop up throughout the webinar, guys, just pop it in the chat box. We've got Carmen here, do some small intros on the other end, a nice special VIP guest for you. So we'll have some great stuff coming in from today. Like I said, I hope everyone's doing well and everyone's healthy during this crazy time. Oh, hi, Michelle from North York. Woohoo! Very cool. I also saw Vancouver in there. This is super exciting. Philly, Chicago. Oh, wow, you guys are piping almost too fast for me. Halifax. Brenda, I saw you there. Has anybody spoken to me on the phone? Hello. This is super exciting. We've got Teresa from Ohio, I just saw there. All over the place. Oh, wow. All right then. All right, let's get rolling, guys. Once again, welcome here to the Hi Mama Helps webinar. We're excited to talk you through about some remote learning, some tips and tricks, and we'll get you into some more detail there. But ideally, during this crazy time right now, we know that everything's sort of shifting, and that's why we thought we'd host this webinar. So some small intros here. I'm Maria Simon. I'm in RECE, so I'm an educator myself. I've been with Hi Mama for about 2 years now, and I worked for about 6 years in the classroom. Variety of ages, but ideally made a shift here, found myself with Hi Mama, and wanted to make a difference for all you amazing folks. You guys are doing an amazing job out there in the field today. On the background right now is my co-partner here, Carmen. She's the community coordinator here. Let's be really honest. She's the brains behind it all. She is the power behind it all. She's a phenomenal coworker to be with, and you'll see her come back in a little bit from now. But before we dive into all of the great fun, we also have our VIP guest, the bomb. From Washington, D.C., we have Julene McLean from the Cathay School. She's a program director there, and we have some great questions lined up for her. So if you guys have any questions as they come through, pop them in the chat box during the Q&A session to come. Before we do dive into all of it, I just want to get a better idea. So here in the chat box, we're going to pop out a poll. and get an idea of what your role is at the center and who you are and what you're doing. You guys are super valuable, and I want to make sure to just see kind of who's happening. So let's get this in. Couple of minutes there. It's right, should be in the chat. And just to make sure, give you a minute or two, go ahead and click on that guy, and we'll see who's in for that. Once we hit all of the results as well, we'll let you guys know as well, just to see the variety of people here today. So the second question coming up, so that you know as well, is we want to get an idea of who has started doing remote learning, and obviously this is to further the conversation here today. So give you just another second or two. Wow, you guys are fast on this. All right, 1 second left here. I'm gonna publish it up here. Here we go. Sorry about that. Go ahead and answer that in there. My apologies. Not to, we are learning new. Tech is the thing that's happening here today. So seeing lots of lead teachers and assistant teachers, phenomenal people, coaches, directors and owner, fabulous. You guys are all doing an awesome job, by the way, right now. I know it's a hard time, and it's definitely not an easy thing being an educator in this craziness that's happening right now. All right, 1 more second here, and then I'm just gonna end this guy. There we go. And what I'm gonna do here is just pop in as well into the chat. We are going to go right ahead and let us know. Are you doing remote learning with your families, with your kids? How are you guys doing some remote learning? Are you planning on doing it? We're gonna talk a little bit more about that as we come through. So. Sweet. So I almost want to see a little half and half here. All right, we're going to end that guy up. We'll get those results and everything going there in a minute. All right, let's dive in. Let's get a little bit more exciting stuff as we go through. To give you an idea, if you haven't started doing remote learning, you've probably heard about it in different ways. We want to just give you like a better understanding. It's a lot of people have said it's distance learning or it's online learning. It's when obviously you're not physically in the classroom with your people. This is a huge topic right now. Obviously, it's not something that as an educator has been thought of until maybe right now, especially with young early childhood educators. It's something that we probably didn't really think of, but we're doing it right now. And so you might think it's hard, but don't fret. It's something that's actually really easy, and it's easy to implement. And we're here to help you guys as you come along, and here to provide you with lots of resources as well, which we'll talk about a little bit more down the road here. So diving into what we're going to look at today, okay? So we're going to try and give you guys some tips, some trips, some help you set up for success. So this way you have a better understanding, maybe some organization and some thinking you haven't thought of, tools, ideas, supporting your parents. We're going to split this guy into 2 parts, okay? So we're going to start out here with about 20 minutes of content or so, and then we're going to jump into our 30 minutes of a Q&A, roughly, with our special guest here, Julene. And she's actually transitioning with her staff right now over to fully remote learning. So this is going to help you guys, if you haven't, potentially get an idea of that and give you guys some help there. So moving into some of the tips that we've got set up for you. So starting with, we have 9 tips. Number 1 here is set yourself a work environment. So this is very key, especially as an educator. Classroom was your work environment. So what you want to do is try and bring that home for yourself. So it provides you a spot of focus, helps get the creative juices flowing, as well as help you stay on track. So if you're setting yourself some goals, it's there for you there. The clutter, we all know it happens in the house, especially right now with us being stuck inside and very little contact with the outside world. It's nice to just make sure, if you're doing a live session or if you're recording, that the clutter, even if you have to just kind of push it behind the camera, is just out of the way. It takes distractions away from the screen. It will just help you be clear as well. You're not like focusing like, oh, over there I have a pile of laundry. Just get it out of the way so you're not looking at it at a minimal. Some natural light. Now, we all know we look fabulous in like the shadow figure complex. At the end of the day, if you are doing live or you're taking that video, the kids want to see your faces. So just ideally make sure that you're set up with light in, let's say, behind you, and my camera's behind me here. I don't have something sitting behind me over here, and it will push some dark light on you actually. At the end of the day, like I said, especially if you're talking to some parents, you want to make sure you're lit up. You're not stuck in that back room. So we all try to do our best. At the end of the day, we might be stuck in a basement for wherever we are, but do our best to keep it there. So, um, look, moving on here, let's keep it professional. Whenever you're live with your families, have fun with it, but at the same side, you want to be prepared. So by making sure whatever you have planned for your families there, that obviously it is professional and you're prepared. You don't want to feel like you're scrambling for everything. So if you're, for example, reading a book or making an art activity with them that day, if you're doing that live, great. But you don't want to be kind of running away from the camera all those times, making sure that it's just with you and you're ready to go. The interruptions. If you're anything like, we all are working from home right now. Currently, myself, even working in my dining room, don't want, my partner making a coffee in the background maybe during that time because it's loud and annoying and frustrating for your family. So kind of keep that on the low key as well. Your kiddos, if you have kiddos at home, it's a hard time. Maybe have them participate. Maybe save some screen time for that time just to make sure the interruptions are at a minimal. Turn off the ringer, just keep it so this is your time with your families, with your kiddos. Keep those interruptions down low. A big one for me, test your tech. Find a familiar face, whether it's your partner, whether you have a great friend, whoever. Testing tech just in advance helps ease so much anxiety, especially on a first call. And this way, you just feel a little bit more prepared as well. So, personally recommend however you're doing it, to have a friend, give them a call, set it up, go through the kinks, have a good laugh, share some stories. At the end of the day, you want to feel comfortable on the screen. You want to feel comfortable with what you're showing your families, whether it is yourself, whether it's a story, whatever it may be. So it will help ease so much and just make you feel so much better and kind of get those first call jitters out a little bit. So moving on, the last 3 tips here. Ideally, we all know parents do their best to remember. They don't. So it's best to send out reminders. Obviously, you're going to prearrange this with your family, so they're going to hopefully have some idea. But at the end of the day, make sure you're sending out some reminders, whether you do a text message, whether you do, let's say, a Facebook group, whether you're doing email reminder, just to remind them, time. The other thing too, as well, especially if it's your first go, potentially set some ground rules. Some etiquette for on the phone, whether it's, if you are just talking to your parents, if you're talking to your kiddos, just make sure there's some minor ground rules so that, everyone is happy and on the same page. Good intro to internet. This is a big one. If you are going live like we are here today, then just make sure to have the right connection. So whether you're hardwired in, whether you're going off your Wi-Fi, and that's one of those things that you find out actually when you do your test run with your friend there. It will just let you know. You'll hear if it's choppy or if your visual is kind of glazed over or frosty or whatever it is, just to maybe tweak it a little bit by moving wherever it is you need to move to get that stronger Wi-Fi connection, or just like I said, plug on in, and this way you'll be good to go. Last but not least, have fun. If you haven't seen your kiddos for a little while, it gets easier and easier as you go through, but have a good laugh with them. And don't forget that at the end of the day, you're obviously still there for them and to have a good time with it. So, what can you use? This is a big one. There's been lots of hot topics about which pieces of tech to use. And so we have a couple here that we want to show you. So really popular one, we even use it here at Hi Mama, is Zoom. It's hugely popular right now. So if you've ever researched them at all, if you ever found anything, couple of things. They offer a free package. You can do private chats in there. It's phone, computer friendly. It's not fussy about whether you're Mac or Android or iPhone or whatever like that. And for the most part, it's pretty flexible to learn, and they do have some online support as well. And with the free package, you can do 40 minutes like per meeting, and there's no limit to how many people, I believe, and you can link it into your email, things like that. Like send a link in your email. This way, parents know how to send it off. If you're a Skype person, you pop that on your phone if you like. Obviously, you need a Wi-Fi connection pretty much for everything these days, so it's not something that's abnormal, but you can do that great video calling if you're just maybe trying to get like messages out, or sometimes people, especially who are international, you want to be able to kind of reach out to them and not have like any long distance charges, things like that. Hugely popular. I'm even a user. WhatsApp, you can do some video calls with that guy. Super easy to download, super easy to use. Obviously, your other person needs to have it as well. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty easy operation. It's a nice one too as well for sharing pictures, so or videos. I find with my family, share videos with my niece and my nephew all the time, and I can also do like the voice call. So next up, Google Hangouts, also a very popular one as well. It's computer friendly, it is phone friendly, pretty much linked up through your Gmail. So if you already have a Gmail account, all you need is your Wi-Fi and you're good to go. And it's actually pretty easy to operate. For me, like we have also used Google Hangouts here at Hi Mama. Some people are super happy with it. I find it plays with my webcam a little bit, but those are things that you find out as you're going through. Join Me. So this one may be a bit controversial at the same time. It's not, but you can do a free trial. They do prefer you purchase up a package though. And it's generally anywhere from about $10 to $20 USD. But it's more on the screen sharing side. So it's similar to what we're using here today, where I'm showing you a couple of things and I'm talking to you about what's happening um, around our topic. But at the end of the day, it's still a pretty easy piece of tech to use. And maybe if you're looking for something a little bit different as well. Last but not least is the FaceTime one. The hard part about this is you have to have an iPhone, iPad, Mac, whatever it is. If you're going to do that, obviously all your families would need to have that. So just to make sure, like if that is the way you do want to go about it, otherwise it's pretty similar to WhatsApp, and you're not feeling too scrambled. At the end of the day, you can record videos on your phone. If you have a laptop with a camera, you can record a video on there too. And if you want to just send that out in a nicely tightened up email, you can do that as well if you don't feel like being live like we are here today. So lots of options. Let's jump in and getting a lot of great feedback from them. And we wanted to take a moment definitely sharing that. So how they're using a childcare app to communicate with their families almost now more than ever. So whatever app you have, if you have one, ours in particular, our centers are using the message center to really get mass emails out, lots of updated information. Teachers are sending emails to the classes. They're sharing their menus through the menu setting in our part of the app. The huge piece we're finding is the activity planner. What we're seeing and what our customers are telling us is that they have been using the activity planner to still plan their activities and share this information with their families, giving routine advice, just giving them, how to, tips and tricks to dealing with their kiddos while they're at home with them. Another really cool thing as well is that you can do notes in there, so still posting for reminders, which is a great way to go about it. And then of course, no matter where you are, customer or not, we have tons and tons of online resources that are available to you. So we're trying to make that as available as possible, and keeping it going with our customers and people like yourself. So more into the remote learning side though, jumping back here a little bit, things you can do. If you've done any research online, which I'm sure everybody has, there's tons of things you can do. And ideally, you want to take and step back and think about how you run your class, and give this content to your families. And that's a huge piece, because families still want to be able to take their children's education forward. They still want to be able to make sure that they're not left in the dust at the end of all of this. And then that's the last thing that we want here at Hi Mama. So things you can do. You can do your circle time if you're really into that. Do a calendar session with them. I would recommend if you do a calendar, do it live. It's a little bit more fun. And it doesn't say Dora the Explorer feeling, if you get my drift. Read their favorite stories. It's always one of my, I love always reading with my kiddos. And we'd have pick 2 or 3 books, get them laughing. You will feel it. You'll feel the energy. They'll feel the energy. And it just helps ease some of that anxiety about everything that's happening right now during COVID. Do show and tell. So this for me, I loved show and tell, but I always found too, even as a child, I couldn't take that one specific item in because it was going to get broke. It was too fragile. Let them show you. Let them take you on a tour of their place. Let them see what other people are doing, how they're living, and it just makes you reaffirm that everything is moving forward and we are doing okay. Assign some homework. So this one can actually be what you want. So if you want to do like a scavenger hunt, if you want them to send photo proof in, if you actually want to like assign, like maybe you want to send them an email with a link that takes them somewhere, they have to fill out a sheet of some kind. Give them something to do that will be easy on mom and dad, obviously, because mom and dad are probably wishing they were with you right now, and have fun with it. Get creative, laugh, and have a great time, because those moments that you'd had in circle time, which I'm sure all of we have been there as an educator, can be frustrating, super frustrating, and a lot of fun at the same time. Let's jump into a little bit more about supporting your families and how you can give those positions, but as well, you're a valuable person. So here at Hi Mama, if you've ever talked to any one of us on the phone, at the end of the day, we feel like you as an educator, as a director, whoever it is you are in the center, no matter who you are, you're valuable. You're helping raise the next generation's lives, and you're helping them create what is important to them and how they can move forward from it. So be that parent's resource. They're in your position, you're in their position, you're at home with your kids, they're at home with their kids. Share your knowledge with them, but also just be that person. So whether you want to send them out those lessons plans like we were talking about earlier, share some videos. Maybe you found something cool online that you thought would be awesome. There's no oversharing anymore. This is everything and anything. Get creative for them because they don't know how. They're working, you're working, they don't know what to do with their kiddos. 2-year-old screaming in the background, your partner's on a business call. You want to do what you can to just kind of ease some of that stress. They want you to do that as well. But on the same side, you want to also be their support. So like I said, you are valuable. One more time. You are valuable. Okay. Your families, if now, are going to see it more than ever. And this is super important for educators all over the world. Okay. All right. Are we ready for the big part here? So I want to do a little transition over to Q&A. I'm so excited for Julene here to join us. We have great questions. Julene, when you want to pop on here, she's going to give us a small intro here in a minute. Yay! Welcome, Julene.
Thank you for having
excited. You're
Yeah.
welcome. This is so everybody knows Julene works with one of my coworkers who I love very, very dearly. So as soon as I found out, I was like high on the roof because I haven't sadly seen her in 3 weeks since we came home. But let's dive in though. Give us a quick intro about yourself, just to give an idea of what you guys are doing at this school and how it started, everything you'd like there. Let's know a little bit about you before we go in.
Sure. So you kind of briefly introduced me in the beginning. I work in Rockville, Maryland, which is a city. It's about 30 minutes away from Washington, D.C. And I'm an early childhood director at a dual language immersion preschool. We're called the Cafe School. And we've recently, as you know, and as you shared with all of our listeners, that we kind of switched our preschool, our in-person preschool, to an online platform. And so far, it's been a success. And yeah, I'm ready to just share all that we've kind of done and tips and strategies, and also answer all of the questions that all of our educators might have.
Awesome. Okay, well then let's start first question to get the ball rolling. So, how is your center managing with the transition? I know when we were chatting earlier, you said you'd fully moved over to remote. How is
Mhm.
that transition for you guys, though?
So far, it's been good. It literally came out just one day. We just had an idea because we actually closed our center. We're pushing into our third week. And so all of our parents, all of our families they've paid their tuition for the entire month of March. And with our program, we try to be very fair. All of our administrative staff, like we're all moms, we're all parents. So, and we all have young kids, and it's costly, to take care of them. So we try to be very fair to our families, and we didn't. We wanted to offer some type of learning because they still had about 8 days, 8 school days left for the month of March that they've already paid for. So instead of just saying, "Hey, we're closed," because it is it's mandatory that we're closed right now. So instead of doing that, we wanted to just offer something to them. So we just offered them the online classes. And now, for since we're in a new month in April, we decided that hey, let's just build a program because we're not charging our families for this month at all. We're not charging them a holding fee. So we created a new program and gave our families the option of signing up.
Okay.
So far, so good. We're expecting a lot more of our students to join, and other students, we're actually opening up to other students as well.
Oh, that's very exciting. So then, just maybe for some clarification, moving forward, will you be charging your parents then? Because I know this is a hot topic of whether centers
Right.
that are closed continue, or are you guys going to be doing
So,
that?
so we right now for the month of April, we are charging our families. We've
Mhm.
created several packages. We have drop-in classes, so parents could pay a small fee to just drop in maybe for one session. Each
Okay.
session is 45 minutes, and so they can pay that, or they can pay for 10 sessions, and we offer them like two additional sessions if they sign up. So there's a cost for that, or they can pay for 30 sessions, which is roughly 30 sessions if they join us twice a day. That's about 15 days. And so we have a lot of options for our families, and they do have to pay for it to join our classes that we have now. But back in March, when we closed a little early, they didn't because they already paid for their tuition for that month.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Hmm.
I love that you guys created the packages as well to just move forward to be
Yeah,
flexible for your families. That's super
yeah.
important. So then when it comes to the things that you're offering, like I know that like you it's a bit of a different program for you guys, but what are the sorts of like pieces of content you are offering for them?
Okay, so we are offering several classes, and we strategically designed these classes with our early childhood educators in mind. So even though I'm the director, I am teaching a class, and I have a background in English, and I just love reading. I also have three young children, three daughters, and so it's just books galore here at my house. So I've opted to teach reading adventures. And that class, we're just storytelling. We're going over our circle time content and different those type of materials. We're up, we're jumping. Other classes that we have, since we are a dual language immersion school, we wanted to continue learning Mandarin. So we have a Mandarin class. We have Little Artists
Cool.
International, which is one of my favorite classes. We're taught the educators are just wonderful artists, and they're a part of our administrative team, and they basically go to different continents, different countries, and they're teaching different art, how to do different things and incorporate things that we know our children would have at home. We have making music, which is just a music class, very hands-on. Children are ahead of time before the class. They're building, maybe using a water bottle and rice and building shakers and things like that. So when the class starts, they're, having fun with the teacher, and it's very interactive. We also have Sci-Fi Try, which is another great class. It's a science, it's one of our STEAM classes, and they do science experiments, again, with materials that we know that they might have at home already. Some of the things that we did last week, like making Play-Doh. So we just used flour and water, and the kids saw that. And then after the class, they got to make it, and, baking soda and vinegar, watching
Mhm.
it explode, and all of those fun stuff that we know our kiddos like to do.
Awesome. Hey, it sounds like you guys have like a very unique set of programs being like offered. And I love that like the way you guys have incorporated is from with your teachers in mind, obviously, and building it around their skill sets too. So that's very cool. I love that. So then turning to what you guys are offering, have you gotten feedback from your families? What does that look like for you?
So, you said something very, very factual in the beginning. It is a weird time, and
Oh,
everything is weird for maybe even for our high schoolers, middle schoolers, elementary school students. This online platform, this online learning experience it's new, and you can't imagine what this might be for our preschoolers. It's different because it's different than watching just a YouTube video, and that something that they might be accustomed to. This is different because it's like, wait, why do I? It brings up the questions like, why do I have to see my friends on through the computer or through the television? Why do I have to see my teacher through the TV or my laptop or my iPad? Well, like, so it is weird. Our parents are super appreciative because we didn't necessarily, because we're not charging them their tuition, even though we're charging a fee for the classes. The classes are optional. We didn't have to do this, but we are so, even though, yes, we as a business, we need to earn an income, but we're so passionate, and we're advocates of early learning that we kind of we wanted to create this program. So they're very appreciative of the fact that we are still offering some type of learning experience in this season that we're in.
I love the passion behind you and your team. Like I can
Yeah,
definitely feel it comes from more than like you have it, but I can definitely feel it's a team shared passion and
it
having
is.
that to give your families. I like I think that they're very fortunate as well. Like and a lot of centers are doing similar things. And I feel like parents these days finally have realized that it's something they need and they are so thankful for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, with all that said then, like, it seems like your parents are pretty much on board, like, mostly getting there, getting everything set up. Have you had any key challenges with getting everything going?
Well, I think the one of the biggest challenge that we have is catering to different age groups.
Mhm.
So we don't believe in this just a full day online preschool. There's no way, we at first we kind of we had to make a decision. Do we want to offer more sessions or less sessions? But I really thought about it that I still want the preschoolers to have some type of routine during this time. And I don't want them sitting hunched over a laptop or an iPad screen the whole day. Like, I know that parents, they have to work, and, I'm working and I have children, so I know what it's like, but there still needs to be some type of routine. So we intentionally only offer 2 sessions for the day, which means that we don't have the luxury of saying, okay, the first session is going to be for 2-year-olds, and the second session is going to be for our preschoolers, our 3-year-olds, and then third session, pre-K students. That would also limit the amount of students that we would have in each class. So just creating content, learning content that would appeal to all students is one of the biggest challenges. But like you said, we I do have a great team. I really I we really have a very strong team that we learn to push through and kind of make it a little bit more interactive and hands-on so that all of our learners can participate and have a good time during the class.
It definitely seems to be a topic that I've been seeing myself come up, especially over the last, I want to say, couple of days, in
Mhm.
regards to age group of
Yeah.
whether or not you're probably not in the only boat there, that's for sure. So then, in regards to the sessions you're having, and obviously trying to offer up for as many ages as possible, how have you been collecting feedback from your families and stirring up conversation for like any improvements, things like that?
Right. So after each class, we usually require something. For example, I taught a sci-fi tri class, a science class, where I mentioned earlier that we made Play-Doh, and our little artist class. Sometimes in the class, if they're using something with paint and it has to dry, we ask parents to send us pictures of whatever the experiment that the student did or whatever the project is that they made during that class time, that online learning class time. And when the parents send us pictures, that's when we kind of strike conversations like, "Oh, hey, how did Jackie like this class? Did she think it was good? Like, what are the feedbacks that you're getting?" Um, we also have webinars with our families, and we have them late at night, so 9:30 when we know our kiddos are already sleeping.
Oh.
So we meet with our families and we do surprisingly, the first one that we had, I was actually very surprised that parents actually joined in. And I think they were, we're missing that normal human adult interaction. So I'm sure that's why they're all gravitated towards our conference. So we do meet with the parents on our learning platform and just asking questions like, how does your child like the class? Are there any challenges? Recently, we had a mom who her challenge was getting her daughter to, because she's home, not run off from the video and like go to her room and do something else and kind of stay connected. So we were able to offer an advice like, hey, maybe instead of, I think she was utilizing her phone, or so like, just put it on the TV. Put it on the TV so it's bigger and it looks more amazing, and it would probably keep her a little bit longer. So giving tips and strategies like that to our parents during this webinar, and we'll definitely host other things. And we also shared with them. Hi Mama posted a recent schedule, just a normal working from home schedule. So we shared that with our families and kind of gave them some tips and some strategies they can use, offering those open extended play that you can be in the room and supervise them, like Legos and those things that will dramatic play. So we had an opportunity to just share that with them and also answer questions about learning from home, tips and strategies during this time.
I love that you guys did the parent session. Like that's actually a
Yeah.
key. Thinking of doing it later in the evening, like in my mind, just did not kind of come. And I love that you guys did that for your families and that and it was so successful. So we've definitely had a lot of questions coming through on the chat. We have been noticing, so don't think you haven't been noticed. First, I want to say that, like, Julian, your insight has been super valuable. I've
Thank you.
really been enjoying chatting with you, and I'm going to open it up. One of the big questions we've been hearing is what sort of platform do you use for all of this?
Sure. So we use Zoom. We purchased a Zoom account and it's great so far. We haven't had any problems or any issues. And we send out just the link to our
Mhm.
families and they just join. We've gotten great feedbacks from our families also about using the Zoom platform. It's pretty simple. Like after I graduated from college, I was kind of like done with the tech world. So, it's simple for me to use and it's easy and it's pretty simple. So it's great. Zoom has been the main platform that we've been using.
Awesome. Okay, so we definitely have like a good list of questions coming here. So just want to make sure
Sure.
I get everybody. So Faith is asked, do you have any advice about reading online? Of course, is there like any copyright issues that like anyone should be aware of? Like how do you go about it? Because I know you said that was one of the things that you were doing your passion there with the literacy. So
Right. So we do storytelling. I just grab my books that are in my home. I hope there's no copyright issue with that.
probably isn't,
um,
but
yeah. So I do that, and there's also a lot of online resources that you can get through your local library. And I just share my screen. For example, if we use Bookflix, Bookflix has like every scholastic story. It kind of brings them to life. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful tool to use.
oh,
And maybe sometimes I'll read a story just in person, and then I'll share that interactive story with them after, and it's amazing. It's just the students, they're getting just like a second run at the story. It's like, oh wow, this is the story coming to life. So I highly recommend using an application like Bookflix, and there's so many other resources, storyonline.net. There's so many resources that you can share. If it's specifically related to reading, you can share so many, you can share your screen and the students can watch. YouTube is also another option. Just be careful with the advertisements that come up and things like that during that time.
yeah, that's always a key thing to just kind of keep your eye out for, especially as a parent, and it's a teacher like yourself. So, any suggestions on parents who are overwhelmed?
Yeah, I think meeting with those parents and even giving those parents a call. When we started our online platform, we have a parent, and she's an essential personnel. So she has to
Okay.
work every day, and dad was home. So she still wanted her daughter to go about learning, and she didn't know how to like kind of balance it. So just calling her, sometimes parents need to know that, it's gonna be okay. We're all facing this, and we're all going through it, and we're all going to get through it together. So sometimes um, just reaching out to families, just calling them, and families who didn't show up for our free online session, I call them or send them a message, just to check up on them, just to make sure everything's okay, and kind of let them know that we are here for them.
I love it. I love that you guys are so in tune. And this actually kind of goes with my next question from Mohammed, because he was asking a little bit more about, the mood of his parents are very low right now, and how are you kind of getting them excited to just kind of be a part of the program as well with their kiddo?
So we send out emails. Hi Mama is great because we still use it even during this time. We send out emails, and we use the SMS option. So sometimes we'll shoot parents a text message, and just having that relationship and with them, and still communicating and not ending the communication abruptly.
Mhm.
Even though we have a lot of educators who maybe they're not being paid during this time, or maybe they've been laid off, whatever the case is, we're still communicating with our families, and making sure that's a high priority, and just letting them know. One thing that I keep sharing daily on our platforms is that learning doesn't have to end because we're not in the physical classroom, and the interaction and the socialization, and they still need to see their friends, they still need to see their teachers during this time. So just stressing the importance of that is something that we've kind of valued, and we've kind of pushed and worked hard to do during this time.
I love it. It's actually going well with a couple of things we've been noticing on the chat, like that ties right into what you were saying, that like keeping, the customers being in live with your families, that face to face, like you said, is a game changer, and keeping them connected, your kiddos with your friends and your parents with the other parents. Like it's a great place to go about it. All right. Well, then let's go on here. We've had Wendy, she's asked about, are all of your teachers, there's kind of like three parts to this question. So are all of your teachers taking part? Are they all getting paid to do their remote learning? And if they're not taking part, are they still getting paid?
Okay, so all of our teachers are not. So right now, what we've done is we use our lead administrative staff. All of our we our program is unique in the sense that
Hmm.
all of our administrative staff, we all come from an education background, and we all have like experience in teaching. Like I mentioned, we have two of our administrative staff members who they are both artists and they both went to school for art. The owner of our company, Miss Avery, she's actually a singer, so she even teaches. She still does online
Oh.
singing class. Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing. So she still teaches singing online, and so we don't utilize all of our teachers. And unfortunately, our program was not able to kind of pay all of our teachers during this season. So we had to temporarily give them like this layoff letters so that they can apply for unemployment and during this time so that they're still earning an income. And right once we're back in the building, our promise to them is that their job is still secured after that.
Awesome. I know it's a very hard time. Even here at Hi Mama, we've had to, sort of put a pause on a couple of people's
Yeah,
jobs, but
yeah,
they've been promised, and I know that our CEO will keep it as well, and I'm sure you guys will
yeah.
as well. So
Yes,
it's
we
a good
will. We're
time.
totally we
Yeah.
and even myself as a director, I've reached out to our teachers who our educators that we did have to kind of put a pause on their jobs at this time, and just calling them, just being that the emotional support that we know that they need if they need assistance with applying or going about applying online for anything. We are there to support, just checking on their families, making sure everyone is staying safe, and just keeping that line of communication open even during this time.
Awesome. Okay, we've got a couple of other great questions here.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is something maybe we can talk a little bit further about after. Karen has asked if you wouldn't mind sharing your pricing packages, and since this is so new, like any examples she's looking for would be very helpful for her. So,
Okay, sure. So we charge for 10 sessions. Well, we'll start for a drop-in session.
mhm.
We charge $12. So if parents want to just come in every now and then they'll just pay $12 ahead of time. And for 10 sessions we charge $100, and with those 10 sessions they get two additional, just as an incentive for them to sign up for those 10 sessions, they
Yeah.
get two additional sessions. So essentially they get 12 for 12 sessions. They pay $100.
Okay. I mean, and I know that like a lot of centers are trying to make that reasonable of budget, but I think for like what you guys are doing, like from the sounds of everything, I definitely
Yeah,
think you're on point there
yeah.
with that. So that's fantastic. So then moving on to Viola is how are you collecting payments at this time? Because I know like some families like to do the cash, some do credit, like it depends on the family, but what do you guys do for that?
So all of our families have been using our online. So we have a shop on our website, like an online
Oh,
shop, so they can just purchase packages online. So we just send them the link in the emails or
mhm.
text blast that we send out. We send them the emails, and then they make an online purchase.
Got you. Got you. So then, so the classes are 45 minutes and they apply to like your variety of age. Do you recommend that there's like a max time or like the max amount of numbers that your parents, like your families would attend like session wise?
Yeah, so we have an idea of the amount of students that we would kind of want, definitely more than like around 12 to 15,
Hmm.
depending on the class. Some classes, for example, the reading adventures class, it's very, very interactive because we might read a story, we might stop and then I want to ask questions. So I ask questions to all of the students. So for a class like that, we don't want to have too many students because then to go through like 20 students it's just going to take up majority of the time, that time that we could be used to teaching, and the students could be learning a particular content during that time. However, for example, our Mighty Movers class, we have a class named Mighty Movers, and um,
Oh,
our instructor, it's so interactive. Our instructor, she's like dancing, and the students are following the different dances, and the classes like that requires less interaction with the students. They're kind of just following steps. Those classes we're very open to have larger numbers of students in that classroom.
okay. One of the next questions actually kind of goes with what we're talking about right now. Carrie Lynn has asked, what's been your biggest obstacle in setting this all up, especially setting up remote learning with your families?
Mhm. I think the biggest obstacle is just having our families realize um, the importance of signing up for the program, the importance of still, you know, we know some of our parents, our families might be teaching them during this time, but we still want our students to have that, even though it's virtual, that virtual social interaction, if there's such a thing, with to still see their friends and still see their teachers. So just real for the families to realize the importance of that because. They might think, okay, well, I can just go on YouTube and play my kid a video. I can play my child a video. Um, but we want them to realize that there is a difference because our teachers, we know what they've been learning and where to kind of pick things up and start from, and so there definitely is a huge difference, and just for our parents to realize that it's the toughest part.
That is, I think that's the toughest part for almost any center is like just getting your parents on board for probably almost
Yeah.
anything is like your go-to obstacle for things. So last question before we tidy up everything here. So, and I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. It's Revia. She wants to know, do you feel like your program's actually replicable, sorry, for someone who isn't attending like a larger school organization with like funding, administration, and materials?
Yeah, I think it's definitely doable for maybe a smaller school using the Zoom platform. And, because we're not doing anything fancy as far as, when we teach our students, we are doing things that are educational. So I think if you are a preschool, you have that the learning content part down. You definitely have some type of curriculum in place already. So just even reading the books to our students, that could be done. And you'd be surprised that some of your students, they just want to see your face, isn't it? We want to see our teachers because they're with you for maybe 8 or more hours throughout the day. They want to see you. They still want to have that relationship with you. And so using a platform like Zoom, that of course you have to think about your budget. I'm not sure of the exact cost to purchase the package, but they do have a free option. So even if you make your class 30 minutes, then that's totally fine as well. Um, yeah, I do think it's doable for a smaller. We're not a huge preschool. We are a smaller school, and that's why we're kind of able to connect so much with our families. If we had like 1,000 families, then it would be a little bit harder, and we probably would just have to push a lot of emails out. But yeah, just connecting. Still, I think the smaller the better in this sense because you can still communicate with your families, and you can still give them a phone call, send them an email, and just have them to realize that the online platform of learning is very important during this season. Mhm.
Awesome. Julian, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, having you on, getting your words of wisdom. Before we move to just like our final notes here with Carmen, any words of encouragement for everyone who turned in today, advice, just any last thoughts on everything that's going on right now?
Yes, I just want to tell everyone, it's over 1,000 of you guys here, that this is a really tough season. It's eccentric for a lot of us, but I'm very confident. I have my faith. I believe in God. I believe that He'll get us all through all of this. And for businesses that are suffering during this time, my prayer for you is that things will get better. I know that there's so many stimulus packages coming out that will help to support maybe smaller early childhood centers. And I'm confident that, we're going to pull through and things will get better. And this is just going to be just a flashback, a memory, and, um, support your students during this time. Don't give up on their learning. Try to use whatever platform that you can, even if it's just sending out the content that Hi Mama provides for parents to do at home. I wish we could like stop by our kiddos' home. That would be awesome. And, but just support them during this time, support their learning. It's very important that they're not just at home, maybe, just doing nothing, that they are still learning, because I would hate for them to have just forget everything that we've been teaching them since the fall began, just for these couple of months. So just support your parents, support your families, and trust and believe that God will do miracles in this time.
Julian, thank you once again. I want to just pop over now and bring my colleague Carmen on. She just wants to share a couple of notes with you guys here. Carmen, it's all yours. Mm-mm. Oh, Carmen, may have lost you for a moment. Uh-oh. Small maneuver, no worries. If just to make sure, in case no one heard Carmen, although I'll dig and make sure that everyone got her notes here, you're going to get an email tomorrow. So we're going to do a quick recap. We're going to make sure you guys get all of our links. Our next session, we're looking at doing some management planning with centers in 2 weeks. So Thursday, April 16th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Couple of things to look forward, moving forward in your emails. We're going to do a Slack channel. ECEs, resources, questions, answers, anything like that, it's going to come your way. Please join. I'm going to be there. Carmen is going to be there. And we really would hope that as many of you are there as possible. So before we let you all go for the end of the day, thank you all for being here with us. We know this is a hard time. Stay healthy, stay safe. And once again, thank you for coming back with us today. Cheers, everybody.